So how do you do this? Well, you walk in your customer's shoes. Most everybody, has everybody here got a business plan? Okay, you need to write a business plan. But most everybody does a business plan. It's got to have your mission, your vision, and your purpose. And then it's going to have some financial forecast and all this other stuff. And then it goes on the shelf to collect dust and to be blown off maybe in 3 to 5 years when you're cleaning out your office. Right? That's what happens with every business plan. Because normally it's not reality. It's what you think reality is going to be. But if you really went in and developed your business plan from your customer's shoes, I guarantee you'd write a different one. In addition to that, there's elements downline of writing your business plan that you have to attend that 99% of the time is never in the business plan. You got to write a story. And the story isn't necessarily I was born here and grew up here and then I fell down the stairs and I launched this business and it's turned into this. You need to write a narrative that is compelling, that kind of underwrites your entire story. I was working with Jack Rouse and Associates out of Cincinnati on a restaurant concept we designed. They've worked with Universal Studios and helped Universal Studios design the Bubba Gump restaurants and things like that. And it was a fascinating exercise because we wrote a story. We launched a little Mexican food restaurant on the Riverwalk in San Antonio that we grew to $4 million a year. It was a very successful restaurant, and we launched it. We wanted to do it around an ice house. And an ice house is the old school version of a convenience store back in the day. They'd bring bread and milk to the ice house to keep it cool because that's where people would come get their block of ice on the way home. Those turned into convenience stores. But there were social contact areas, and the early Roadhouse in Texas emerged out of that. So we ended up writing a whole story, because we called it Rita's. We ended up writing a whole story about a person by the name of Rita and her family. Now, this story was not like a Kentucky Fried Chicken story, that there was actually a Rita. But we wrote a story as if there was, centered in and around the culture of our community and who we were and what we were doing. As a result of that, when we got into the creative build-out, we knew the genealogy, we knew the history, we had something that we could grow out of as we developed out our story, and it made it even more compelling. So when we got off into restaurant design, the look and feel became very evident. It wasn't just, oh yeah, I like that. And you know, it was a great way to do concept development. You got to do your own strategy canvas. How are you differentiated? What makes you unique? Manage your media mix, and I'm going to touch on that briefly for those of you that are confused about what your media mix should be at the level you're at. And then watch the dashboard. You need 5 to 10 metrics, measurable metrics that are key leading influencers. You know, your car's got a computer in it, it's got 150,000 things going on in the car, but there's pretty much an RPM, a speedometer, a gas gauge, you know, oil and temperature gauge. You got 5 sitting there. And if those go out of tolerance, you know you got to go in and check deeper. That's what you want to do, no more than 10. I really like 5 or 6 as your key metrics. And I'm going to show you some key metrics on results on the example I'm going to give you. So, how do you write your narrative? How do you do this? Well, you need to develop your story. If you need some help, you can write it yourself or hire a publicity writer. And for those of you in music, you have access to great people that you know are probably good writers. There's excellent writers in town. You can hire a writer in town to help you write a compelling bio, a narrative bio about yourself, and then take that bio and then also maybe scrap the elements of it if it doesn't apply to you, to the story of your business venture, and then write the story around that. You know, nobody really wants to read, and I'm going to pick on Lynn a little bit, like I said, because I know her business. She does amazing things with arts and crafts, homes and construction, and period type of renovations, making them very, very contemporary, but building off the wonderful bones of these old structures. Well, you know what? You could write a story, Lynn could write a story about a couple who renovates a home, or the genealogy of a story where there's a generational thing and maybe the family redoes the home and they discover things about the home in the process. Is it fictitious? Yes, it is, but it helps lay the foundation and the framework. But you can hire a writer in this town for about $400 to $500 to help you draft up the equivalent of a 2 to 3 page bio and narrative. And, you know, and then it will be something that will apply. I cannot tell you how many times I tell my clients we've got to have good written narratives in place. We don't spend the time on it. Then we end up servicing to publicity the inquiry we just got, and what we give them runs. Anybody had that experience? And you go, oh, I thought they were going to edit this. Because what they ran, you go, had I known this, I wouldn't have submitted it this way. But you did. They're going to run it. And if you don't write this, if you don't take the time to do this, I guarantee somebody else is going to do it for you. Somebody else is going to write it. You're going to have an editorial writer write something that is their opinion, and if it's a critical thing, good luck with that. But in addition to that, bad customer word of mouth is going to go out and write your reviews. Trolls, anybody know what trolls are? These are people lingering out there in the ether that just go and decide to bag on stuff. You see a lot of this at political sites where you can tell there'll be a political, go to USA Today, go to the politics session, read through the comments at the bottom, and you can tell the trolls. If you listen to talk radio, sometimes the talk radio guys will go, oh, well, you're a plant or a troll because you're just out looking for an opportunity to waylay the discussion and take it off message. Community sites and blogs. I had one client, they thought they were the greatest thing since white rice. I went out and Googled them, and there was about 10 or 12 comments that were lingering out in the ether that needed to be responded to that they had never addressed, that were just bagging on them. And they weren't even paying attention to it. Comments and reviews and news reports. I've got one client, we just completely redid their communication plan, and a radio station ended up picking it up. They didn't even know it, and all of a sudden we started getting traffic from a market. And I said, where's this traffic coming from? Lo and behold, our content feed and our content information have been picked up and run by a radio station, the way we put it out.